entertainment, premium education at the very highest level. The first level of the contest was nothing short of breathtaking. We enjoyed the intellect, showing us all what they've got. Regional Maritime University came in with the fire. We saw All Nations University also put up a really strong show. And don't forget Kumasi Technical University. Everything was perfect. We've gone for the break, waiting on the results, and there's more to come for the rest of the universities to come later on. At this juncture, with everything set up beautifully, we are ready for the rest of the universities to come on the stage and wow us. It's all about the 2024 Gas Challenge, where the best of the best meet and show us what they've got. Who takes the crown this year? Preliminary stage is already looking beautiful. Come with me as we speak to some of the coaches. Remember, we've changed the criteria this year. It looks different, and so different approach from the coaches. I'm here with Madam from, of course, Ghana Communication Technology University. What's your name, man? Kindly tell us the different approach you guys are taking this year.
All right, so my name is Dr. Ruhia Abubakar. Yes, I'm the coach for GCTU.
And with the new system, with the new innovative challenge, I'll call it a challenge because it's something different. What was the approach to selecting the students to compete?
That is a great achievement for Ghana Gas. And for us, GCTU, what we put in place is to make sure that our students are able to bring out their engineering solutions to some of the problems that were given to us. So that is our tactics for this year.
And you know what? If you ask a lot of people here, the one person that they do not want to be in their shoes is the coaches, because you guys have the dilemma of picking who actually goes to represent. How difficult is it for the number of students that you have to be only picking 2 or 3 to represent your school?
Well, for us, we have a group of students who keep learning every year. So for this year, we decided to bring some ladies on board because we are in the agenda of making more females feature in some of these programs. So we have a few females selected, including one guy. So that's the strategy we've taken for this year.
Definitely. This year being the 5th edition, we've already had UMaT winning it 3 times. You guys have tried, but still to no avail yet. What makes you think this year could be your year?
Well, if you remember last year, we came out strongly. We were able to qualify to the semifinals, but unfortunately we dropped off. This year we are coming with full vim, and I'm sure we'll get to the finals.
Thank you for speaking to us, and all the best to you. It's just been wonderful so far. I mean, I can't wait for the second action to begin. There's another coach joining me here, and I'm sure it's a very, very proud one already. Kindly tell us your name and the school you're representing.
I'm Richard Amorin, representing the University of Mines and Technology, Tapa.
3-time champions in the building. I'm sure you guys are working with great confidence, but all of the 3 times that you won with a format that you are very used to. This time, it's a different format. Will it deter you guys from winning this time around?
This is even what we are used to, being innovative in everything that we do. It's part of our curriculum. So it's like homecoming for us.
Homecoming season for UMaT. Last year, we saw an upset in my eyes because you guys had already been 3 times champion, and then KNUST came out of nowhere and took the trophy. Is it revenge time this year?
Not at all. We actually wanted them to take it for once, for them to know how it feels to be a winner. So it was a game plan.
And you being champion, I already asked the coach from GCTU, her dilemma selecting the guys who go on to represent. How difficult is it for you and your team to do that?
Unfortunately, I don't know why they were finding it difficult, but for us, it's something that we do on a daily basis. We have a squad, so getting the top 3 wasn't an issue.
Beautiful. And finally, before you go, how much does that support do for you guys on the big stage when it counts?
It's everything to us.
And hopefully it will be everything for you guys. Thank you for speaking to us, and good luck for the rest of the competition. It's just excellent things happening, and we have another coach joining us. It's just looking beautiful so far. Kindly tell us your name and the school you are coaching.
The name is Edward Kwekununu. I'm representing the University of Cape Coast. And this year, we have come once again. The focus is going back with the cup, with the final ultimate win as the winner of this competition.
I see the confidence levels very, very high. Now, judging from your past competitions, are there any few things that you guys look back and worked on and say, hey, we have to go back to the drawing board, we'll work on these things and come back, hopefully this year will be yours?
Yes, we have actually done that. And we have made the selection of our contestants to have a multidisciplinary background. And that is why this year we are confident of winning this contest.
And I'm sure in every contest you view people as major threats. Are there major threats around for you this year?
We don't see that at all.
Wow.
We don't see that at all. Yeah.
Well, all the best to you guys. We wish you all the best. And we'll see what the contestants do on stage. It's time for action. We are ready to go. I'll hand it back to my MC. Let's get it running.
Thank you very much. And a lovely good afternoon to each and every one of us. We are back here for the Zone 2 contest on day 1. This challenge is under the theme, Embracing the Future Together, Driving Sustainable Solutions in the Gas Industry Through Innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon we would have in this contest Ghana Communication Technology University. And they came with their coach, Dr. Ruhiya Abubakar. I see Prof also rightly seated right in front here. Then we come to University of Cape Coast. Usually we are told they are the University of Competitive Choice. Whether it is competitive or not, we will decide this afternoon. And their coach is Professor Nunu, who is here with us. Then this afternoon as well, we have a 3-time champion, University of Mines and Technology, all the way from Takwa. This morning I shared a comment somewhere and I said that Takwa Jesus is back. Last year, Jesus spoke. His followers didn't understand the message. The question we are asking is, would they understand the message this time around? And they came with their coach, Professor Amorin. Professor Amorin is also here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled. I am looking forward to something beautiful. I'm looking forward to something that will blow our mind this afternoon. I met some of the previous contestants outside there, and all they said to me was that, look, all the things that you people have been talking about is in our solution. So wait for us and you will see. Well, let's see what will happen. Before we set off, it is required of us, mandatorily, that we must have an HSE moment. And so I would invite Edmond Ekor-Tuyi to give us the HSE moment. Let's give a round of applause even as it comes.
Thank you. Good afternoon, team. Good afternoon, everyone. So for us at Ghana Gas, management is very committed to providing a safe working environment for its staff, visitors, contractors, or any other third party that comes into contact with our activity or operation. So by extension, Ghana Gas is here, and so the policies must work. All right, so I'll plead with you to observe this safety protocol. Now, in this building, thankfully the top there's nobody there, but down here, in the likely event of any emergency, please, the exit doors are 2, to your immediate left and then to your right. We'll plead with you that do not run, but walk briskly. Because in the attempt of running, you may slip and break other parts of your body. So please do not run. And then when you go to the front of this very premises, please, when you are descending the staircase, use the handrail. Okay, the tiles are quite slippery. I'm sure some of you have experienced some slips already. So hold the handrail and walk downwards. So when you go down, please, the emergency assembly point is towards the gate to your right. We'll advise that you all meet there. We'll do what we call a head count. We'll account for everybody here. Because I'm told you registered your name. Is that so? Yes, so we'll do a head count and make sure everybody is accounted for. So please don't run away and go through the gate. All right? And then welfare, the washroom is equally down, but it's beneath this building. So when you exit the staircase, you go to your left. You will see a signage there to take you to the washroom. So please feel free and use the facility. Then lastly, I want to share with you some concerning statistics or data from the National Road Authority. And just this year, from January to February, they recorded some very concerning data. And then, so for road crashes, 2,260 road crashes, January and February alone. So by this October, I'm sure it has increased. 369 lives were lost, 2,552 injuries, and 381 pedestrian knockdown. So the pedestrian knockdown, what it means is that most of us don't use the appropriate areas to cross roads. You don't make the driver see you. Don't assume when somebody is driving, the person has seen you. Okay? So let the driver see you, see the driver before you cross the streets. And also, please, wear reflective clothing that the drivers can see you at night. Okay? Don't cross roads at blind spots where you cannot be seen. You'll be hit and unfortunately you will die if you're unfortunate. So what we're advising is that mostly it comes from distracted drivers. Okay, most of us like to do the selfies, the social medias whilst we are driving. Please stay away from your mobile phones and stop eating whilst driving, all right? Stop eating whilst driving because we are told that every 3 seconds, road conditions do change. So please, we need your full concentration. And finally, please, those of you who are under the influence of alcohol and drugs, psychoactive substances, please stay away from them. We need you alive. We need you. Your family needs you. Ghana needs you. Please stay well out there. Thank you very much. That will be all from HSE.
Thank you, Edmond. We are grateful. And ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I want to acknowledge the technical team who has been working effortlessly to make sure that our quiz is intact and nobody would have any comment whatsoever to pass. We can put our hands together for the technical team. At this point in time, we will invite our panel. They need no other introduction. Dr. Emmanuel Ankude, Engineer Portia Ousua Obin, and then Sylvester Enyomi Kuju from Ghana Gas. So these three persons will be our judges. Let me also quickly acknowledge, I see Dr. Shafiq right there. Dr. Shafiq from UCC is right there. Having said that, I'll give the opportunity to the respective coaches to say hello to us, like I said in the morning, and then we can proceed. So I'll just call them by the way they balloted, okay, so that we are all safe and free. So I'll start from the Ghana Communication Technology University, Dr. Ruhia Abubakar.
Thank you. Prof. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to acknowledge the presence of Prof. Malcolm, the Dean of Graduate School, Ghana Communication Technology University, Dr. Esther Siedu, and Professor Teresa Obobisa. Thank you so much for coming. Good afternoon once again. I want to start off by thanking Ghana Gas. You have done so well. I call it a step in the right direction. This innovative challenge is a game changer. From Team Methane, we are poised for action because we have prepared, and so expect the best from us. GCTU! 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 Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ruhia Abubakar. Now we move to Prof. Nunu from the University of Cape Coast.
UCC. Number 7. We are number 1 per the World University ranking in Ghana. Number 1 in West Africa. And we are grateful to Ghana Gas for giving us this platform to once again come here to demonstrate that we are still number 1. Yeah. I bring you greetings from the management of the University of Cape Coast, and we want to say we have really prepared for this year's contest. Due to the nature of this year's contest, we have invested so much in it, and all that we can say is that our other competitors, look out and be careful. We are coming.
Thank you very much, Professor Nunu. We are grateful. Now we go to Professor Amorin from the University of Mines.
Thank you very much. Allow me to stand on existing protocol to appreciate Ghana Gas for extending the invitation to UMaT to be part of this innovation fair or challenge. When it comes to giving value for money in terms of education, it has always been one university in Ghana, and that has been the University of Mines and Technology. As our name depicts, expect nothing but the best from us. I can only advise that other participating institutions, you take your notes out as we give you a lecture on innovation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Amorin. Indeed, it promises to be exciting, and I'm sure that we are all looking forward to the best. Before I hand over to the judges, I read a tweet somewhere, and the tweet said that Takwa Jesus has left the cross and gone for breakfast. He will be back. Now he is back, and so the contest will begin. But just to inform you that the reports the institution submitted scores them 40%, and the rest of the 60 is battled out right here on this stage. And so it behoves on all the students who are going to come here to know that beyond the 40% that you have submitted, you have a certain 60 to battle for here, and that's what we are looking forward to. And so at this juncture, without wasting much time, I hand over to Dr. Emmanuel Ankude and the team who will take us through the rest of the contest. Thank you very much. Doc, over to you.
Thank you, Harrison. At various schools. So without much ado, let's call the first school. Which one is the first one?
So Ghana Communication Technology University will start.
Oh, really? So it's going to be this one. Okay, welcome GCTU. I see two ladies. Okay. The question hasn't changed. You were here in the morning. It's about 3 products that were identified, and you are to try and develop a commercial solution to their use. LPG, pentane, and glycol. So your presentation is projected on the screen right now. So if you are ready, 15 minutes or less, please tell us all that you have done.
Thank you very much.
Hold on. And feel relaxed. It's just about education here. Before you start, please introduce yourselves.
I'm Rosemond Benson.
And I'm Peace Bemu.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so we are ready for you. So you may start your presentation, please.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, panel of judges, we are Team Methane of Ghana Communication Technology University. This afternoon, we'd like to present our innovation challenge on the commercial solution. To begin with, we have 6 agendas for today. We are going to look at an executive summary, utilization options for this product, that is LPG, methane, and glycol. We have utilization of pentane. We have the risk mitigation as well. And then finally, the environmental impact and a governance model suggested by our team. For our executive summary, this presentation is to examine the utilization of this product. We are going to come up with solutions to the risks that comes to do with this product, as well as mitigations. We are going to come up with a governance structure, as well as a payment, a governance structure, as well as calculate the revenues that could be generated from this product. For the product utilization, we have methane, ethane, pentane, butane, I-pentane. They are the composition of LPG, pentane, and glycol. For methane, it could be used in the power generation and agriculture. In the power generation, methane could be used for production of electricity in the sense that they are burnt directly in the turbines, and these turbines are used to turn water into steam, and this steam turns the turbines, and in the presence of magnetic field, electricity is generated. They could be used in agriculture sector as well. Methane is a byproduct. It's a primary reactant that reacts to compounds to produce ammonium and urea, intend to produce fertilizer. We have ethane. It could be used in the petrochemical industry as well. We have propane for restaurants and household. We have butane, I-pentane or isopentane. Now, for the demand nature of these products, LPG, as we all know, it's increasing every day. The use is increasing every day. In turn, the demands as well is increasing. This is mainly because of population growth, mainly because of population growth. So pentane, the demand for pentane is underdeveloped. It's underdeveloped in the sense that stakeholders are not engaged. And to glycol demand, as it stands now in Ghana, the demand for glycol is very less in the sense that it's only used in the production, in the processing of gas during dehydration, that is removing water from the gas. Now, some key utilization options for methane, and I would like to hand over to my colleague to take you guys through.
Good afternoon once again. There are some key utilization options for pentane. Like my colleague said earlier, pentane can be used for a whole lot of things, a very much lot of wonderful things that pentane can do. But because of undeveloped infrastructure, it's not being commercialized in Ghana. Pentane can be used for power generation, like it's used in specialized generators called the organic Rankine cycle generators. They convert heat into electricity. So what happens? How it occurs is this: the pentane, which is the fuel, is brings out heat, which returns to electricity. You can also use heat from other sources and turn to electricity. You don't have to depend on lingers for power generation. We can even distribute energy systems. That is, we can use these generators to have smaller power grids. And then for especially remote areas and then villages like this, we can have them over there so they don't have to wait for the main grid, which is the main grid, to come over to make installations for them. Also, pentane can also be used in building insulation. Pentane is used as a liquid on the roof or in the building, so that, like example, when pentane is used in this building, you can sit in this room without using our ACs or air conditioners, and then the room will not be too hot and won't be too cold, and that's also going to help to decrease the use of the energy or electricity here. And then it's also used as refrigerants in refrigerators and then freezers. It's also used in laboratories and then for research applications. Associated risks with this, with the gas mentioned, first is price volatility. The price of LPG tends to increase and then decrease as time goes on. And then this is very bad for the gas market. Also, the infrastructure constraints. LPG doesn't have a lot of storage facilities here in Ghana. And this is a very big blow to Ghanaians, because in times where the production of LPG decreases, we are going to suffer a lot and we are going to have a lot of issues. Also, risks related to pentane. It has low demand. A lot of industries a lot of industries are not using pentane. It is not commercialized in Ghana, so they rather go for the lingers, which is much more given. And then the risk related to our glycol is improper environmental concerns, which is improper practices, improper disposable practices. Sometimes they use the glycol and then dispose it, and it causes harmful effects to us, not just humans, but also other creatures, the ecosystem as a whole. So we also came up with solutions to all these problems. First of all is to hedge pricing using financial instruments. For the LPG like this, let's say consumers can come into agreement or negotiation with their LPG suppliers, and then say, oh, okay, this I want that in the next 6 months I want to buy LPG at this same price. Let's say 10,000 Ghana cedis. I want to buy LPG in the next 6 months. I want to buy this LPG at the same price, no matter what, whether it fluctuates or not. So in this case, they come into that negotiation, and then whether the price increases or not in that next 6 months, you are going to sell the supplier is going to sell that LPG to the consumer at that same price. Also, implement strategic storage solutions. Like I said, LPG has limited storage solutions, so we can use depleted oil and then gas reserves to store some of these gases. And then also you can use virtual storage systems, and this is something new. This virtual storage systems, involves a contract between two companies where the consumer purchases the gas, and then it's reserved, and then the pipeline serves as the storage for the gas. So the time that the gas is needed, the future time that the gas is needed, that is when the gas is released to be used by the consumer. Also, we should also engage stakeholders in power generation sectors. Yes, and then invest in initial cost for specialized generators. This is in the case of pentane. We heard that investors invest in getting these specialized generators, which I mentioned as the organic Rankine cycle generators, so that pentane can also be put to use. This would make the price of other gases like the LPG and the lean gas to also go down. And then we should develop a comprehensive glycol recovery and then recycling system. This is going to help to, so in this case, when we use the glycol, we will come back and then we'll recycle it, take out the water and all those bad things from it, and then use it over and over again. And in this case, it's not going out, so it's not going to cause any harm to anybody. So this is the half-year revenue trend. This, and then we got a total of 23 million US dollars. And to calculate our revenue, I went to the NPA website, where I got the price of LPG to be 444.80 USD per MT for the LPG, and then with values for or the amount of LPG in January, from January to June. So
you have less than 5 minutes.
So multiply this, and then we got our revenue. So for January, we got a revenue of 4.0 million USD dollars. February, 3.81 million USD dollars, and you can see the trend goes this way. And then you realize that in June it decreased. So what I have to say is that we could have optimized this product. We could have optimized LPG, pentane, and then glycol by up to 40% if we are able to solve the bottlenecks of all this gas. And then our environmental assessments. Oil and gas raises a very high potential for pollution, from land degradation, global warming, all the way to water pollution and then air pollution. And also gas flaring is also an environmental impact. So stopping this would also help to stop. It also helps in climate change. Also, gas processing, if proper harness, would help to can also help. Also, improvements in the demand centers for some of the gas products, like I mentioned, the pentane, can also help to reduce the prices of the LPG, lean gas, and also help to expand the industry. It's possible for Ghana to be the powerhouse for West Africa in the near future. Also, if I am to wear, if my outfit is also for our governance model, we chose to go for the board of directors, executive management, risk and compliance team, technical advisory committee. The board of directors, they are made up of gas experts, finance experts, and then finance experts. And what they are doing is to set out the mission, the vision, and the goals of our organization. So they are just going to set down what the organization is going to do. And then for our executive management, it's made up of the COO, which is the Chief Operating Officer, Chief Financial Officer, and then Chief Executive Officer, and then other senior ranking members. They are going to take care of the day-to-day execution of the goals that the board of directors have set. And then our risk and compliance team, they are going to take care of factors that can help with like examples, not just related to risk, like normal injuries, but also to take care of the reputation of the company, and then to help with like cyberbullying help with the reputation of the company, protect reputation of the company, help with regulatory bodies, how to communicate with them. And then for our technical advisory committee, it's going to consist of a group of people that are experts in different fields, from finance, the gas in different industries, and to help us with solutions to projects, different projects. In conclusion, LPG is the most used and is most optimal. Pentane is undeveloped and is undeveloped, has undeveloped infrastructure and is less used. Glycol is only used internally, that is internally in the gas processing plant, and then can also be used in plastic manufacturing, and then heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Thank
Thank you. We're grateful. UCT, we are great. GCTU, we are grateful. GCTU, we are grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, GCTU. Thank you, the presenters. We've taken note of a good presentation, so you may take your seat, and then we take the next institution.
The next institution, University of Cape Coast.
I really understand it. I don't know whether it's for LPG, maintain, or yeah. So UCC, you are welcome.
Okay. My name is Foster Halliger. I am Darius Donko.
Okay. You know the problem statement. Your presentation is up there. So within 15 minutes, tell us all that we have to do to try and commercialize those 3 projects.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, judges. Welcome to our presentation on the utilization of natural gas products. In this presentation, we are going to talk about the commercial uses and demand centers of LPG, pentane, condensate, and glycol. We will know how to price them to our off-takers so that it will be affordable, noting that we get our profits. We will look at the dynamics, the demand and supply of these products. We know there are risks when it comes to LPG, pentane, condensate, and glycol. We will address such risks and we will bring smart and innovative ideas so as to tackle this risk. There are environmental impacts when it comes to LPG, condensate, and glycol. We have to understand such environmental impacts so as to know what to do and propose mitigation measures. We will bring you a brilliant ideal governance structure. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Has Ghana been able to utilize all its natural gas products? If you have ever asked yourself this question, then you are in the right place, because today we are going to fully discuss how we can utilize our natural gas products. Let's take, for example, LPG and condensate. They are like packages. Let's take LPG, for example. It comprises of propane and butane with small amounts of hydrocarbons. Condensate, on the other hand, is having isobutane, butane, and other small traces of heavy hydrocarbons. Many people are having the perception that propane is just mixed with butane so as to produce LPG, and it's just used in our homes for cooking and eating purposes. Is that all true? Do you know that propane can be used by welders in their metal works? Propane is used as auto gas. Propane is eco-friendly, so we can use propane as our refrigerant. When you want to talk about good refrigerants, you want those that are non-poisonous. Propane is the ideal one. the ethylene and butadiene. These are monomers for the construction of rubber and plastics. We get these raw materials from butane and isobutane. For hexane, we know them in our various laboratories. We use them as solvents in the treatment and extraction of oil, especially vegetable oils. Pentane is underutilized. How? Pentane is having these amazing utilization options. Let's take, for example, pentane can be used as a blowing agent. Pentane can be blended with other materials to refine fuel. Pentane can be used as refrigerant. Pentane is having such amazing utilization options, so it should never be underutilized. One amazing thing about pentane is that it can be used in our pharmaceutical industries to produce xylene, toluene, and benzene. For glycol, we don't know waste. So when the glycol is even wasted, we have to recycle it, reuse it to clean our pipelines. We use it in the dehydration of our natural gas. We can use glycol as antifreeze agents and coolant for our transportation fleets. LPG and condensates are having several demand areas, and I want to talk about just one, the power generation of LPG. Do you know that we can use LPG to produce power? How? When you go to USA and Japan, they are doing something, and it's really helping them. When you go to Japan, they go to their rural areas where they know electricity grid cannot go to. They use LPG, and LPG turbines turn, and they are able to produce electricity, converting mechanical to electricity. I need water. For blowing agents, I don't understand why Ghana use huge amounts of money to import chemicals that are not environmentally. I don't understand why Ghana imports huge amounts of chemicals to be blowing agents. Let's take, for example, pentane can be used as a blowing agent, and this is ideal because in the manufacturing of plastics and foam, they use polystyrene, and when pentane is added to such products, it can be used as a blowing agent, and it works because pentane is eco-friendly. Glycols are also demanded in our oil and gas industries. Now that we have been able to come up with the utilization options, let's know how to price them. For example, LPG, we are using the market-based approach. For the market-based approach, we are indexing it at the Argus. Why? So that we can be competitive in the foreign market. We can attract investors. When we come to our local community, we are introducing the community sustainability rebate program. This is when we tend to offset initial costs. That is, we track our customers and we give them prices for promoting cleaner energy source. For condensates, we are pricing the same as LPG, but this time at the Platts index. Pentane is underutilized. So if you want to price pentane, we have to be strategic. We are using the contract-based pricing and the cost-plus pricing mechanism. In the cost-plus pricing mechanism, we know that we calculate our production costs and we put a reasonable regulated, not fixed, regulated amount of our profit margin on it. We are not just interested in the price of pentane. That is why our team is introducing this Pentane Value and Promotion Initiative. For the Pentane Value and Promotion Initiative, we will go to companies we know they have the prospects of using pentane. We get to them like ash foam, like polytanks. We explain how they can use the pentane. When Ghana Gas use this approach, they will be able to utilize and also they will be able to sell their pentane to off-takers. This is our projected revenue for half a year for LPG. And thanks to the National Petroleum Authority, we are able to come up with such data. This is how we calculated for the pentane. Let's assume that production cost for pentane is $300. We made our calculation and we put a profit of $150. Let's note that pentane, this profit is regulated. It is not fixed. Upon all our calculation, we got our half-year pricing of pentane and LPG to be $31.7 million approximately. Now that we know about pricing, let's look at the supply and demand balance of condensate and pentane. Condensate is in supply. According to the data given to us by Ghana Gas, that means that pentane is also in supply. But why is it that they are underutilized? They are underutilized because we don't know how we should sell to our customers. That is why most of the times it is being fled. This is our supply and demand balance for LPG. The blue lines represent the supply, and the red lines represent the demand. You see there's a huge gap between demand and supply balance. It is expected that when Ghana Gas uses our approach and sustainability goals, it is expected that in 2030, we will be able to balance the demand and supply of our LPG. Is our utilization option optimal? What can we say when something is optimal? Is it addressing our energy security? Is it promoting industry? Is it environmentally friendly? Yes. Our utilization options are addressing energy securities. When the government even invests in our pentane, condensate, and LPG, this can even promote our current government initiative of the one district, one factory. Pentane is also environmentally friendly. Brian Tracy once said, excellence is not a destination. Excellence is a continuation. Although we are optimized in our production, we can do more when we are able to tackle this risk, like the market and demand risk, infrastructure and technical risk. We will talk more and solve this risk for you. Using a multifaceted approach, Ghana Gas can invest in institutions like University of Cape Coast, who is very good in research. We will research and give you correct data of our market value so that you can model your prices. You will know where you can place your demands. When you do that, you'll be able to mitigate against your market and demand risk. Introduction of the green bonds is a powerful tool. This is when we go to Red Bank. We go to institutions we know they support low carbon projects. We tell them about our plans. They will support us. They can give us grants, loans, so that we can use this to build our infrastructures. When we are doing that, we become financially stable. We will be able to mitigate these financial and infrastructure risk. Waste is not in our dictionary. We don't know waste. So every pentane, every LPG, condensate, glycol is not going to waste. We are going to utilize them. So this is the circular economy. We are not throwing everything into the atmosphere. When we do that, we are polluting the environment. Using the circular economy, we'll be able to mitigate the environmental and social risk. Although LPG is having these marvelous impacts on our society.
You have less than 5 minutes.
Although LPG is having this impact on the environment, we have to understand how LPG and condensate affect our environment. For example, in the processing of LPG and pentane, glycol, emissions go into the environment. They are pollutants like the NOx and SOx. We have to mitigate them by using air scrubbers. Pentane, when inhaled into our body, can affect us. This is our ideal governance structure. We are using the participatory governance structure. In this governance structure, we are not going by the traditional means, whereby board is composed of financial experts and lawyers. No, we are going to use chiefs as our board directors too. We are using those in the market to form part of our board composition. Establishment of the Stakeholders Advisory Committee. These people are going to have influence on our board directors. They are environmental experts, social experts. They know the grounds, engineers. So they make decisions for the board to bring out a meaningful information or decision making. We know various executives have their own goals and visions, but in our system, it will be shared responsibilities. They will be united. The Chief Executive Officer, Chief Finance Officer, Chief Innovative Officer, Chief Sustainability Officer, they will work together as a team and bring a goal. Specialized functional teams like the marketing team, sales team, and the rest. These all will come together so that they will form a specialized functional team. We have a strong hope that when Ghana Gas is able to use our utilization options, how we are able to mitigate this risk, Ghana will be a pillar in the energy sector.
It's okay. Time is of the essence here.
Yeah, UCC, we thank you. We will come back to you. So please take your seat. Now, before we call the next school. Now, before we call the next institution, yeah, it's not fair to be making noise when somebody is on stage. Now, be reminded that it's a panel of judges here, and I'm the leader. You don't know what is on this marking scheme, isn't it? Okay, so it may go against you if you keep making noise.
Right.
So with that,
University of Mines and Technology.
Okay.
Thank you. We understand. Only one blaster. Can you have your seat? Thank you. We are grateful.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Now, UMaT. Can you introduce yourselves, please?
Okay. I'm Quasin Ebenezer, and I'm here with my colleague.
Okay, we call them Team Condensate. So in 15 minutes, please tell us what the innovation commercial has been for you. So you can start.
Thank you very much. Today, my colleague and I will present on the commercial aspect of the innovation challenge. So to start with, I will talk about the presentation outline. So we have the proposed utilization options for the various products and the likely demand centers for these various products, as well as assessment of the proposed utilization options, and also we will recommend some pricing methods for these options. Then we assess the risk and risk mitigation measures associated with these utilization options. Then we will talk about our organizational governance structure. So to start with, LPG is currently used in Ghana for cooking and transportation purposes, and 80% of the LPG currently used in Ghana is channeled into cooking, and 20% is channeled into transport and the industry. This is backed by several government initiatives such as the National LPG Promotion Policy, which has the cylinder recirculation model. So the LPG penetration rate in Ghana was reported by the National Energy Policy in the year 2021, and it was reported that it increased from 18.2% in 2010 to 25.3% in 2020. And in 2024, it is projected to increase for about a rate of 4%. So, talking about the government initiative, Government of Ghana is aiming to increase the access of LPG in households to at least 50% by the year 2030. This is backed by the Sustainable Energy for All policy. Import of LPG into Ghana accounts for around 75% of total LPG utilization in Ghana, whereas the domestic gas production from the Atuabo gas processing plant constitutes about 25% of the LPG we use in Ghana. So looking at the import 75% and the Atuabo gas processing plant producing just 25%, there is a huge gap from the import and the Atuabo gas processing plant production. So we suggested this plan of action that to bridge the gap between the import and the domestic production, LPG utilization should be continuously be promoted, that in the sense that we should continuously produce LPG for it to be used in domestic purposes, and also to ensure that the government's aim of achieving 50% by 2030 can be met. So we're told in the study case that the isopentane that's being produced by the company is not being currently monetized, but it is currently flared. So the flaring of isopentane generates an amount of 4,500 metric tons of CO2 into the atmosphere, and this contributes hugely to the carbon emissions into the atmosphere, increasing the global warming in Ghana. And so we suggested that the flaring of isopentane must be put to a stop for it to be used in other beneficial ways. So we suggested 2 utilization options for isopentane. Firstly, methane and butane can be produced from the hydrocracking of isopentane from this reaction, considering the temperature range and the pressure range shown below, with platinum as a catalyst on a zeolite support. And also we suggested that catalytic cracking can be done to convert isopentane to produce ethylene and propylene. This can also be done under a temperature of 480 degrees Celsius to 550 degrees Celsius with platinum and a zeolite support. So after the cracking of this isopentane, various products were obtained, that's methane, butane, ethylene, and propylene. And we assessed the quantities of these various products produced, and also their half-year revenue generation. So this is a table showing the quantity of the various products as well as their half-year revenue generation. Methane had an equivalent energy production of 4.59 gigawatts per hour for every month, and also we had a half-year revenue generation for methane around $718,000 US. Butane also generated a half-year revenue of around $7.3 million US, with a quantity of butane produced every month estimated to be 1,190 metric tons. So this had a payback time of around 11 years. And also the propylene and ethylene that was produced from the catalytic cracking was also assessed, and the half-year revenue from propylene was around $80 million US, whereas the half-year revenue from ethylene was around $268 US, totaling a half-year revenue around $80 million US, with a payback time of 4 years. So with this, we suggested some utilization options for these various products. Methane and butane has these utilization options. So we suggested that the methane that is being produced from our hydrocracking can be used to increase the existing power generation capacity in Ghana by 4.59 gigawatts per hour for every month. And also, the butane can be channeled into the existing LPG production in Ghana to increase domestic production by 13.9%. And this has to be done to ensure that the government's aim to achieve 50% LPG usage can be met. Also, the ethylene and propylene that is produced was also suggested to be utilized in various ways, such as ethylene can be used to produce ethylene glycol, which is normally used in gas dehydration processes. Propylene can also be used to produce acrylate, which is used in blending in gasoline. And this helps the gasoline to have high octane rating, and it improves its grades in the market. So we also assess the demand and supply balance for the various products. LPG has certain demand centers, which are the household, industry, and transport. So for the nature of demand centers of LPG currently in Ghana, it is expected to increase for about 20% for every 5 years. And this has supply challenges associated with them. Firstly, we will talk about the infrastructure constraints associated with the LPG utilization in Ghana. And also, there is import dependency associated with the LPG utilization in Ghana, and it has resulted in an overall demand and supply imbalance, in the sense that occasional supply shortages in rural areas. Also, propylene and ethylene was also assessed in terms of its demand and supply balance, and there are certain industries having these demands, and there are certain industries and there are certain industries that serve as demand centers for propylene and ethylene. Chief among these are the plastic and packaging industry, as well as the transport industry. So the plastic industry is expected to have an annual growth of around 12%, which is reported by the Ghana Statistical Service. It also has some supply challenges, which are import dependencies, and it also has limited domestic production. This has also resulted in demand and supply imbalance, such as cost implications, infrastructure constraints, as well as high import dependency. So the propylene and the ethylene that was produced from the catalytic cracking was assessed, and we realized that the production from the catalytic cracking generates a quantity that is far away from the domestic demand of these products. Hence, we suggested that since methane and butane have immediate use in Ghana, that's the generation of electricity as well as the LPG production, we suggested that the isopentane can be used in the hydrocracking process to produce this methane and butane for the power generation and also the LPG utilization in Ghana to be enhanced. And also, we're being told in the study case that the glycol that is being utilized and it gets to waste has to be disposed. But we suggested that we can purify this monoethylene glycol for it to be used in other utilization options. So first of all, we did initial filtration of this monoethylene glycol using mechanical filters to remove solid particles from the monoethylene glycol. And after that, activated carbon was prepared, and also the adsorption process using activated carbon was proceeded. This can be done using the batch method or the continuous column system. We also regenerated the activated carbon, and then finally we filtered it and stored the purified monoethylene glycol for it to be used in different ways. So we suggested that the purified glycol that has been purified using the activated carbon can be used as a heat transfer fluid. So the glycol can be heated to a temperature of around 100 degrees Celsius, and it will be pressurized using a booster pump. From then, it will be directed into a heat exchanger, and the cold glycol from the low temperature separator can mix with it to exchange heat with it. From there, it reduces the load on the boiler, which increases the boiler's efficiency, and hence reduces the energy that would be needed for the boiler to boil up the water from the glycol.
You have less than 5 minutes.
1.18 kilowatts. So on my left side is the heat integration process using glycol, and on my right side is a diagram showing the normal process without glycol. This is being done with and the Aspen HYSYS model.
So upon thorough analysis of these utilization options, we came and then we suggested a proposal that the LPG which is being produced should continuously be used for cooking and then heating. Also, this is due to the fact that it can reduce the carbon footprint of the economy. And then the product which is being obtained from the cracking of the isopentane, that's the methane and the butane. The methane can be channeled into power generation, and also the butane can also supplement the LPG which is being generated. Also, the glycol which is being used as a heat transfer fluid can save a lot of process energy when used in the heat integration system. So there are some risk and risk mitigation measures associated with these utilization options. So there are supply chain disruptions associated with the LPG, which can be kept by building a diversified supply chain, and also explosion risks associated. So this can also be kept by enhancing the public education on LPG usage. Also, without ethylene and propylene, cracking process also releases volatile organic compounds into the atmosphere, which can be kept by ensuring a stringent air monitoring mechanism as well. So with the methane too, it has a lot of storage problems, which accounts for its toxicity, and then also can cause asphyxiation when inhaled, and can also be deployed. You can also deploy gas detectors to detect this methane. The glycol, when used in the heat integration process, propose or cause no direct risk. So these are some environmental impacts on the proposed utilization options. So with the LPG, since it's a much more cleaner fuel, it tends to reduce the carbon footprint compared to other sources of fuel. Also, the isopentane releases certain volatile organic compounds into the atmosphere, and also improper disposal from the catalyst can also contaminate the environment. So the glycol, when the impurities is being removed and properly not disposed, it contains several toxic gases which can cause soil and also water contamination. So we suggested some pricing methods for these proposed utilization options. So with the LPG, we suggested the bi-weekly Argus price, which is a much more flexible, and also it is being updated every 2 weeks. And then it is transparent and fair as well. So with the ethylene and then propylene, we also suggested the market-based pricing, which adjusts to certain market trends. So these are our proposed organizational governance structure and it starts from the board of directors, running through the CEO, down to the IT and management systems department. So in summary, these are some of the stuff we talk about in our presentation, and then the LPG supply, that is 332,330 tons imported, produce around 83,092 tons, which constitutes 5% of the local LPG which is being produced. Also, the various utilization options which is being we talked about, that's the methane generated from the hydrocracking, and also the propylene which is being generated from the catalytic cracking also can be used as well. So the pricing method for the methane and then propane we suggested was the bi-weekly Argus price, and also the pricing method for the ethylene and propylene was the market-based pricing. And also the environmental impact associated with these proposed utilization options as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, UMaT. Thank you, and you may take your seat. We'll prepare.
UMaT, please wait, please wait. Please wait. The rest of the contestants will join you whilst we do the housekeeping issues, and then we hand over to the judges for the question.
It in a different way. Because there's no need if you are going to produce methane from it and burn it. So why don't you rather just burn?
Kindly have your seat. Kindly have your seat, and then the judges will take over from this point. In no special order, please.
It's not working on. It's questions time, please. And as usual, it can be directed at any institution, not in any particular order. So as we'll start again from Portia in the middle.
Okay. Well done to all the teams. I think you did a very fantastic job, and we applaud you for that. Okay, so my first question goes to Ghana Communication Technology University. All right. I think you spoke about the fact that you would consider storage of LPG, right? That in the event that you don't have it in excess demand, then you can have a pipeline to get that. I wanted to find out, in your design or in all your considerations, have you thought of how feasible that is in Ghana currently? Thank you.
Currently, it's not in use in Ghana, but it's an idea that I have, where I call it the virtual storage system, where you can contract the customer, and then the gas supplier can negotiate or contract to contract a gas, a quantity of gas, and then it will be stored, and then the pipeline will have to store that till it is needed. It is needed by the consumer. It's how feasible? It's very feasible. It is feasible. It is feasible, and then it's
To add up to what my colleague was saying, the virtual storage of this LPG is just utilizing reservoirs that are not in use anymore. So in this case, there's a consumer and then a producer. So you contract this producer that you are a company that utilizes LPG. But in certain situations, you wouldn't need it anymore. So they should store this LPG for you in reservoirs that are not being used, so that in the case that you need it, they supply. In the case that you do not need it, they shut it down. That's the whole idea of this virtual storage.
So, a quick follow-up on that. So, when you say storage, regardless of the method you are using, whether you are going to, have you affected your mind to cost? And are you discussing a Ghanaian case, or you are discussing a general global case?
I'm discussing a Ghanaian case.
Okay, so the follow-up on that will be, if you take the case of Ghana, do you think storage facility or inadequate storage facility is an impairment to demand or supply in Ghana?
Definitely. The inadequate storage facilities has really done us a lot of bad, because sometimes the rate at which the production goes down, and then let's say VRE needs lean gas for power generation. Sometimes we get no electricity just because sometimes the gas production is low, either from the West African gas pipeline or from.
So are you referring to LPG, or you are referring to lean gas, which we need to be aligned on the products?
Okay, they're not specific on the.
All right. To add up to what my colleague was trying to say, so LPG in our presentation, we talked about the fact that the prices mostly fluctuate in Ghana, to be specific. So these storage facilities are going to solve the cases whereby they are not around. This price fluctuates in the case that they are around today, it's not around today. It's around today, it's not around tomorrow. So when there are storage facilities, there's not going to be fluctuation in these prices, in the sense that there's always going to be supply of LPG.
Great. I'll just let's follow. So, I suppose when you are making a case for a storage deficiency in terms of capacity, you would have averted your mind to the production profile. Given the data that was shared in terms of LPG production, will you still want to make a case that if you compare that production to the demand or the consumption downstream, would you still want to make a case that there should be a need for storage facility?
Okay. So in our presentation, we are trying to reduce the pressure on LPG. So we want to explore other products. That is the glycol and as well as the pentane. We want to reduce the pressure on the LPG. That is why that is why we went for the option that facilities, storage facilities should be put in place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Still a question for you, ladies. I think in your presentation you made certain proclamation, and what I'm trying to get out of is that all hydrocarbon gases can undergo combustion, but then we want to find out, why do you think that lean gas should be used as fuel for power generation other than pentanes?
Okay, I rather mention that pentane, lean gas is already used for power generation. So I mentioned that pentane can also be used for power generation with the use of specialized organic Rankine cycle generators.
Okay, so you said the other way around.
Yes, please.
Okay, all right, thank you.
UCC. You put up some prices projected in your projected revenue, a whole lot of assumptions. So for our education, can you just explain where those figures were taken from?
We should be asking about the LPG, but the pentane.
I hope you remembered the numbers.
Okay. So for the LPG, we got the bi-weekly August prices from the NPA, and that is what we use to find the total revenue generated for the LPG. For the pentane, we know the pentane is just fled into the atmosphere, and it. So actually, the price we use is for some company. And we use that to just project in case we price the pentane, because the question further asks us the pricing mechanism. So if we use a price to price the pentane, we'll be able to show to you the amount to be generated in half a year rather than flaring the gas, which is of no use, and it just pollutes the environment.
Okay, that's fine. So follow up. Because you made an assumption somewhere that assuming the price is 150. So if in the real world, when you start to commercialize this, the price turns out to be 350, then your projection is out completely, isn't it?
Yeah, it's regulated, it's not fixed. Not fixed. Contract is, so we are trying to get into the market before we start getting the actual profit from it.
Okay. So, based on the calculations we made, we want to first get into the market, because right now we know that pentane is mostly fled. So we have to get into the market, and using that initiative, we will promote it. As we are promoting it, the profit is not fixed. It can be regulated. So if we get the market, then we come and sit down and get a proper price mechanism for it. But because it is underutilized in Ghana, that is why we are going for search profit margin. So if it is changing, we too will be changing.
Okay. All right. Thank you. The second question is also for UCC. In your presentation, this is the only institution where you actually considered condensate as one of the products. But I'm just looking back at the problem statement. There's nothing like condensate in the statement. So why are you trying to add another product to what was given to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So LPG and condensates, they are like brothers. Some of let's take for example. The data given to us by Ghana Gas had condensates, some properties of the condensate in it. So we thought is that why don't we also price the condensate? We're trying to be innovative.
And also adding to it, we have some of the compositions of LPG similar in condensate. So we thought it wise to combine the two together to make it effective.
Right. All right. I mean, if the composition had some quantity of condensate, you do not even show you intend to, if you like, frack it to have that as a separate. So it's a bit surprising that you were focused on condensate in the manner that you did. But be that as it may, I have a question for UMaT. In the course of your presentation, I noticed that your approach is to disaggregate or the makeup of LPG into butane or propane. I noticed we're heavy on that. But I also noticed that when it comes to the use of the term, so for instance, you make the point that there is a shortfall. Okay, there is a shortfall from, let's say, a trouble, and that is supplemented by import. Okay, but to increase demand, you said you are going to bring in more import. And just to quote you right, what you said was that importation is 75% of the demand. Okay, then 25% is from a trouble. In the first place, what is the basis or what is the source of that data? And for how long data point did you come to that conclusion?
Okay, so that data that we got was from MPE 2020.
Okay, so I guess what you are saying is that for the period of the year 2020, when you do the consumption into import and export, 25 is domestic, and then 75 is imported. Is that right?
Yes, please.
Now, you also said that there's excess demand, excess supply. Is that the case?
Please, the question again.
So in your presentation, you make the case that there is excess supply. Is that the case?
Please, we did not say that there is excess supply of LPG in Ghana. We said the import quantity of LPG into Ghana exceeds the domestic production of LPG. And
Okay. I wanted. So. I wanted that clarity because I heard you say you are bringing in more import, and at the same time you also give an indication that. But it's good you've clarified. It's good you've clarified. Now, in your analysis, you intend to crack the product into various components. Did you factor the cost of that in your price build-up?
Yes, please.
And how does it affect your price build-up? Comparing it to the standard market price we have in Ghana.
Okay. So, for the cracking process, we had an estimated capital expenditure of around 135 million US dollars. So that was used in the calculation of our payback time. That was used in the calculation of our payback time of 11 years and 4 years for both utilization options.
If it's going to cost you about $185 million, given the quantity, then maybe we have to look at your payback again, because if it's going to cost you $185 million for the quantities that were supplied, then we have to look at it again. I'm not too sure the prices you quoted will reflect the full cost recovery. Okay, but my last question on that: what is the makeup of LPG? When you say LPG in Ghana, what is it? Is it propane or is it butane?
For Ghana gas, it's the combination of both propane and butane.
So if you intend to frack it into propane and butane, where will you find market for the pure products that you intend to produce?
Please, we did not talk about cracking the LPG to propane and butane. You said the cracking of the isopentane rather to produce methane and butane, where the butane can be used to increase the existing LPG production in Ghana.
Great.
All right, so a follow-up question to that. You know, these processes, these cracking processes involves a lot of energy. Can you inform us of what power is required to undertake such reactions? Thank you.
Please, can you please come again with the question?
I'm asking of the cracking processes, right? It involves a lot of energy, right? So can you inform us, just for educational purposes, can you inform us of the power requirements or how much power is required to undertake such reactions or processes? Thank you.
Power is required, yeah. Can use the methane, right? Can use the cracking to do it, yeah. The hydrogen.
Oh.
If use the hydrogen, or the product that will give us hydrogen.
Okay, so
what? What is required? Okay, then tell him that the methane can also be used.
Maybe if your answer is not ready, we can go to the next.
We can go to the next, right? So, a follow-up question again. With the pricing for propylene and ethylene, I'd want to know your reference market price that you used in your analysis, if you can let us know.
Okay, so for the methane and the butane, our reference market price was based on the bi-weekly Argus price, and then that's for the propylene and then the ethylene. We considered the market-based approach, which is more tends to adjust to certain market trends, and then for the bi-weekly Argus price too, it's been updated every 2 weeks, and then it's flexible too.
Sorry, just to understand, if you can take that again.
So with the bi-weekly Argus price, that was considered for the methane and then the butane, and then the...
You mean methane and butane? I want to be sure.
That's the LPG products that we obtain. The bi-weekly Argus price was recommended for it, and then the ethylene and the propylene, we recommended the market-based approach.
So what market-based approach will you be recommending? Because yes, market-based approach is fine, but what specific one will you be recommending? Because it's wide, and then and why market-based approach?
Okay, are you trying to answer that?
Okay, so this is due to the fact that with the market-based approach, when the market trend changes, it adjusts to it as well compared to the bi-weekly Argus price. So we then consider the market-based approach for it.
Okay. All right, thank you. I have a question for GCTU, the ladies. In the presentation, I think I heard something like, you said pentane is more friendly. But just for all of us here, I want to know what is called pentanes from the plant. Under normal conditions, is it a gas or a liquid?
Okay, pentane. Pentane is a 5 carbon and then 12 hydrogen compound, and it's a liquid.
It is a liquid under normal circumstances.
Yes.
Okay, so for now, for us at now, what do we use it for?
It's used to blend. It's used to blend with gasoline. It's used to blend gasoline, and then also used as refrigerant in the refrigerators and then freezers.
Okay, so in your commercial development, what did you finally suggest that we use it for?
My first suggestion was for power generation in rural and remote areas, in the specialized areas.
To be clear on that, we suggested a specialized, it could be used as fuel for specialized power generators. And I remember my colleague mentioning organic Rankine cycles as a form of power generation. So pentane can be used as specialized fuels in these systems.
Okay, thank you. That takes me to UMaT.
Can we allow the judges, please?
No, it's related to that. In your presentation, what you have done is that you take the pentanes and try to split it to C4 and C1, isn't it? Butane and methane. And then use it again for power generation. I'm trying to figure out whether burning the pentane directly as against investing in all that cracking and then you burn the butane and the methane. Which one will be more economical then?
Okay, so the cracking of the isopentane will be more economical since the cracking of the isopentane will be more economical since it generates, since it produces the methane and butane, which can be used in various utilization options. And the utilization for methane can generate power of around 4.5 gigawatts every month from our calculations that we did.
I believe if you burn the pentane directly, you get more energy out of that. It's just the system to do that, which you probably have to invest in rather than cracking the whole thing. It costs so much to do that cracking. Just for the information. Then UCC, is pentane eco-friendly? That's from your own presentation, that's what you said.
Other chemicals. Let me see it. So when we compare pentane with other chemicals like the CFCs and Ecotex, okay, let me take the CFCs. The CFCs release poisonous or like the CFCs are not environmentally friendly, but they are used in some industries as blowing agents. But when you use pentane, the impact of CFCs as compared to the pentane is minimal. So in this sense, pentane is eco-friendly.
Okay, thank you.
On UCC, so in your presentation, you also indicated that condensate is being flared. Okay, just for information, condensate is not being flared. Okay.
Please, like we didn't say we fled condensate.
Allow. That's fine.
What we said was that from the data Ghana Gas gave to us, the isopentane was flared, but we didn't mention the condensate being flared.
That's fine. So this then you also said in Japan, LPG is used in rural areas. How is it being used and how can that be adopted within our Ghanaian market?
So from a research we made, it was that in some countries in Japan, where it is difficult for their electricity grid to get there, the government have this initiative of using the LPG. So they use LPG turbines. In that turbines, they convert these to electrical energy to supply the electricity to the company, to the community in rural areas.
Okay, you think we can use the same generator, the genset, LPG genset, and then do the same in Ghana? Is that your proposition?
Yeah, we can do same. We can do same. Especially companies who want to adopt this. It is feasible. Okay. It's not just for the rural areas. Some companies can adopt this method.
And it is vital and true that most of the rural areas in Ghana don't use LPG. Especially, that is the main reason why the LPG promotion strategy is being implemented to make sure the LPG reach most of the areas in Ghana.
General question for all the schools. From your demand and supply balance, if you take LPG, did you see excess supply or excess demand for all the schools? So I'm starting with GCTU.
In LPG, there is excess demand for it because the population is growing and everybody, and then we are also, the Ghana Gas is also putting up initiatives for people to stop using the coal and then shift to the use of LPG. So the demand is higher than the supply.
Based on analysis from the econometrics data of LPG, from that book, from that literature, we found out that the demand of LPG is high as compared to the supply.
And when the supply is being increased, that is why we projected by the end of 2030, there may be a supply and demand balance.
Sorry, can you explain that?
Okay.
They don't understand.
It is limited the number of people using
Okay. So it's like this. The demand of LPG is high, but the supply is not there. The supply is low. So in our projection, we made mention that when all structures are well put in place and Ghana is able to achieve its sustainable goals by 2030, the demand and supply will balance.
All right. UMaT, your turn.
The demand of LPG is much higher than the supply, in the sense that there is a government initiative promoting the use of LPG to 50% by the year 2030. And also, there is an increase in urbanization in Ghana. Everybody wants to discard the use of unhealthy fuel forms such as charcoal and wood fuel forms. And hence, the demand of LPG has increased drastically in Ghana.
All right. Thank you. So just one more question for you, CC. Glycol utilization in your presentation, I think you didn't speak much about that in your discussion. Could you elaborate on its commercial usage? Thank you.
So the glycol, for example, is used in the cleaning and flushing of pipelines. It can be used as antifreeze agent and coolant. And also dehydration of natural gas.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. We have come to the end of the commercial session. So you can take it.
Thank you very much, judges. So now we would ask the rest of the team, UCC and UMaT, to take back their seat whilst GCTU remains on stage for the engineering solution.
Okay, are you ready? So the engineering solution, you all had the same problem to find a solution to a certain pipeline construction from one point to the other. So you came up with a solution and we are ready to listen to you. So you may start your presentation.
Thank you very much. According to the problem statement, NGTU contracted a company. In this sense, our company is Methane Engineering Limited. We won that contract. We would like to take you through the engineering process, procurement, and then construction as well. Thank you very much. So for our agenda, we have 5 agenda. We are going to take you through an executive summary, going to look at the role of the Ghana Gas Infrastructure, the aggregator, and the EPA. We are going to take you through a detailed review of our EPC contract, project deliverable, and major considerations, and finally, the conclusion. So for Ghana National Gas, as we may all know, is the country's premier company responsible for processing, transporting, and marketing gas in Ghana. So this contract is in turn aligned with them in the sense that the pipeline we are building is to transport a gas to a cocoa processing plant. This project is estimated to last for 18 months, and we are projecting that it's going to start in the last quarter of 2024. Also, our pipeline was sized using the UMaT flow equation, and then the estimated cost for this project is about $10.6 million. So our project is to build a 10-kilometer pipeline from the south of an existing RMS to a cocoa processing plant, and then is to deliver a gas of 10 mmcf. That's what the contract was entailed. So for our gas infrastructure network, my colleague will take you through that.
Thank you. The Ghana Gas Infrastructure Network consists of 3 components, which is the gas production, gas processing, and then transport, and then the Ghana Gas buyer. Then the production in Ghana is operated by 2 companies, which is the ENI Ghana Limited and then Talo Limited Ghana. ENI Ghana Limited operates the Sankofa Jinyame field, and then Talo Limited Ghana operates the 10 fields and the Jubilee fields. Then our gas processing and then transport is done by the Ghana National Gas Company. They process the gas and then distribute it into the various pipelines to be sent to the gas buyer or the consumers. And the role of the gas aggregator and then the EPA in our contract. The first is the gas aggregator. The gas aggregator is Ghana National Gas Company. And what they do is that they operate within the national energy policies guiding the gas aggregation process by coordinating and then by coordinating the supply and distribution of natural gas, as well as collaborating the key members of the gas value chain. Also, the EPA, they are a regulatory body that are mandated to help to prevent and eliminate actions that will lower the quality of life of humans and then other creatures. So what they do is they give the permits and then do proper licensing during the development of the gas infrastructure. Our EPC contract overview. Our contract is going to have a detailed engineering design, have a procurement part, be constructed, and then we'll install the pipeline. We will install the materials for the pipeline. Also, our detailed engineering design consists of the hydraulic analysis, where we use the UMaT flow equation to find the diameter of our pipeline, and then the stress analysis, which we use to find the stress analysis, which we use the longitudinal stress and then the circumferential stress. Circumferential stress, and then overall we used the combined stress. We use the combined stress to find our overall stress, or to make sure the stress is good enough for the pipeline. Also, to procure our materials, we procured our materials. We will procure our materials using local companies to get our carbon steel pipes conforming to the API 5LX65 standards. We are going to source for our valves, meters, control system, cathodic protection systems, insulation materials for external temperature control. Also, we are going to, in constructing the pipeline, we are going to clear our right-of-way, do the trenching, lay the pipe, do the welding, and then in other parts of the pipeline which go to the rivers and then across the highways, we are going to use the technology horizontal directional drilling technique. And then we are going to install the block valves and meters on the pipeline, and then we hand it over to Ghana National Gas Company for operatorship. This is a schematic of the pipeline connection. Every engineering design, it needs a schematic diagram. This will help to make your work very simple. It breaks down the complex work we have been given. So this schematic pipeline is from Sogakope RMS to Gadco Farms. It is exactly a 10-kilometer distance. And on this route, we encounter highways, rivers, where the pipeline pass through, where we use different techniques, which I would say onward. This is our project timeline and then the cost estimates. We have projected that in the fourth quarter of 2014, we are going to make the detailed engineering design, get EPA permits, make a lot of studies, get consents, and then in the first half of 2025, we are going to purchase the key materials and then get a receipt for the long lead items, which are the specialized items, because it will take a long time to be imported or brought in for the construction. Then the construction is going to take place in the second half of 2025, where we'll clear our right-of-way, lay our pipe, weld it, and then do all the other construction methods. Then we are going to commission and then start it up by the first quarter of 2026. And then in the second quarter of 2026, we are going to hand over to GNGC and then close out on our project. Then below it, we have our cost estimates for the materials that we are going to use for constructing our pipeline. So first is the pipe, the values are in millions. So the pipeline material, the pipeline material, which is the carbon steel 5LX65, that the total length, the whole thing is going to take an estimated of $2.50 million. Then installations is going to take $4 million. River and highway construction is going to take $0.80 million. Our valve station and metering stations is going to take $0.63 million. The cathodic protection system is going to take $0.35 million. Then environmental mitigation is going to take $0.50 million. The project management is going to take $0.86 million. SCADA and control systems $0.35, then contingency is the 10% of our overall cost, and which is $0.97 million. So our total estimated cost for constructing this pipeline is $10.65. I hand over to Rosie.
Okay. So for our project deliverables and major considerations, when we say what is a project deliverables, a project is anything that has a beginning and an end. And through this beginning and end, there are various processes that you encounter. So our project deliverables entails that. And during this project, there are major considerations that we had to adhere to achieve this project. So for routing through densely populated areas, in cases that we consider detouring and also burying the pipelines deeper into the grounds. In cases that detouring is not possible, that is when we bury the pipelines deeper into the ground. So normally pipelines are buried 1.2 meters down. So in these cases, because we are burying it deeper, we decided to go for 1.5, that is to go deeper for the densely
less than 5 minutes to
for the densely populated areas. Also, in crossing our rivers and highways, we had to go for the horizontal directional drilling, in the sense that we do not want to disturb the life of the living organisms in these rivers. Also, we do not want to distract traffic or commercial activities that is going to happen on this highway. Horizontal directional drilling is going to pass beneath this rivers and highways, in the sense that we are not going to open cut the ground. We are not going to have it's a trenchless method. So that is why we went for the we went for the horizontal directional drilling. And also our receiving temperature and pressure. So we had to ensure that this pipeline is able to receive the estimated or the value of the gas given, that is the 10 mmcf of gas at a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, a steady flow rate assumption. So we used our UMaT flow rate equation to make sure that the size of the pipe is able to contain this contain the 10 mmcf of gas. Finally, for our safety system, we've all heard the saying that life is full of risks. That doesn't comply or apply to this contract. We do not take any risk. Safety is paramount here. In that sense, we install safety valves on this pipeline to detect leakages and also to monitor the pipeline in real time. That is for the SCADA. And also the innovation parts, we added it to this safety system. So we are going to implant AI predictive system. That is the AI predictive system. This AI predictive system, we are going to install IoT technologies. We are going to install a vibration sensor. We are going to install an acoustic sensor. We are going to install a corrosion sensor, a pressure sensor, and to detect pressures in case of corrosion, in case there's a leakage. And with the acoustic sensors, is going to detect leakages on the pipeline using sounds. So this data is collected and reported back to our stations, and we make sure maintenance is attacked immediately so that we avoid accidents or any emergencies. So in conclusion, the 10-kilometer pipeline is estimated to be completed in a period of 18 months, and the projected cost is to be $10.5 million. Thank you very much.
Thank you, GCTU. Yeah, we'll call you back and then we'll go through the discussion. So the next institution, UCC. Okay, UCC. This is the engineering problem, and as usual, it is 15 minutes. So if you are ready, you can start now.
Our project is on the design and construction of a 10-kilometer gas pipeline to deliver a gas to a cocoa processing company at a 10-bar gauge. Currently, efficient and sustainable energy needs is crucial and important for driving industrial growth, especially in emerging sectors like the cocoa processing company. This solution will further meet their energy demands and energy needs and further improve the infrastructure of the energy sector. Our goal of this project is to ensure safe and efficient gas delivery to a cocoa processing company for their various activities such as roasting of the cocoa beans, and also to expand Ghana's energy infrastructure such that in the nearby future there can be a potential tie-in to other vital companies for also their activities. Major deliverables, project deliverables, major consideration, cost estimation, and major assumptions are our strong pillars in this project. I'll take you through the project deliverables. Pipeline route design. Comprehensive route survey using GPS and drones are used to determine the best pipeline route. In this, we use these drones to check the best pipeline route according to safety, environmental impact, and cost. And we also use smart route planning in the case that during the suitable route estimation, we check if we can avoid hilly areas, mountainous areas, erosion-prone areas. And also, we employ cutting-edge technologies such as the GIS and the multi-criteria evaluation. When we talk about the MCE, it's just a smart assistant, which helps us to determine the best option because first, we have our route options already based on our cost, safety, and environmental impact. So these criteria will help us to determine the best possible ways among all these things based on the cost structure, environmental impact, and safety. And we based our design on safety and environmental impact. So we take the environmental and social impact. On our physical environment, pipeline construction activities such as trenching using the open cut method affect our environment and remove the the topsoil, which can potentially cause soil erosion and sediment runoff into our water bodies. To mitigate this, we have to use erosion and sediment control measures such as the silk defenses. The biological environment, the pipeline construction affects the flora and the fauna, and also the wildlife of the forest. We know Ghana is a signatory to the Convention of Biological Diversity, 1992. Therefore, we have to follow their regulations and make sure the environment is a perfect place. Construction activities often lead to noises, and these noises tend to disrupt the environment, especially the densely populated area. Example, let's take a school located closer to a construction site. The noise from this construction site will affect their studies and thereby not conforming to the SDG Goal 4, which is quality education. And also, the construction activities leads to dust emissions. And these dust emissions cause respiratory diseases. And this also goes to the this also does not conform to the SDG Goal 3, which is good health and well-being. So we have to mitigate this impact by using watering and also using also using lignin-based solutions and also environmental-free liquids such as calcium chloride to bind the soil particles together before the construction activities. And also we know some of the heavy machineries used in the construction process emit carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases into the environment. And these greenhouse gases tend to cause global warming. Ghana is a signatory to the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer. So we have to go according to their regulations and also conform to the SDG Goal 13, which is climate action. So therefore, we will use low carbon fuels such as biodiesels in our construction activities. Before the construction of any pipeline, we have to do a detailed hydraulic analysis in a sense that we study the behavior and flow of the fluid. This helps us to ascertain the efficiency of the work and also make sure our pipeline lies in the desired specifications. So we start by calculating the erosional velocity, which is the maximum allowable velocity possible before erosional damage occurs. So after getting this, we calculate our diameter, and we got 3. Using these 3 to calculate an outlet velocity, we get an outlet velocity greater than the erosional velocity. And when this occurs, we will have erosion and corrosion, erosion and vibration of the pipeline, which will affect the mechanical integrity of the pipeline. So we have to do detailed optimization process by taking various diameters to predict the best one according to the flow equations given. The pipeline sizing procedure. So the diameter we select is 4, and this 4 gives us an outlet velocity of 5.2, which lies in the recommended outlet velocity of 5 to 10 meters per second recommended by a literature of Ejomari and Saturday. This outlet velocity is optimal, and we calculated the pipe wall thickness using a corrosion factor of 3 millimeters, and these are the equations we use, and the other diameters we use in the optimization process give us a lower outlet velocity, which is even less than 2. And when that happens, during flow accumulations, this velocity will not be able to suspend the accumulations, and this will cause potential buildup in the pipeline. This is just a diagram of our pipeline. We are delivering the gas to a cocoa processing company at 10 bar gauge. So we have to use a pressure reducing device, and we use choke valves for our pressure reducing. Reducing the pressure from 75 bar gauge to 10 bar gauge will drop a pressure of 65 bar gauge, which is too much, a large pressure drop. When we have a large pressure drop, it will have stress on the pipeline. This stress will further cause leaks and rupture of the pipeline. In the same way, large pressure drop leads to what? Large temperature drop, the Joule-Thomson effect. And now, when it happens that the temperature drop falls between the ductile to brittle transition range of our material, then we will have a brittle material, and this will cause ruptures and leaks. So in our design, we are using pressure gauges, both the upstream and the downstream of the choke valves, and they will be measuring the pressure drop through the choke valves. And this will help us in even making possible adjustments. And in the case of a lower temperature drop that can even cause potential problems to our pipeline, we are using preheaters to heat this and increase it a little. And we are also using the resistant temperature detector to detect these temperatures so that we will not have overpressure situations. And the choke valves will decrease our pressure to the 10 bar gauge. We have to decrease the pressure first to an intermediate pressure, which is when we do the calculation at 65 bar gauge, and choke valves can now do that. So pipeline construction, these are the methods. We have the land clearing and right of way, which is the legal authority to the pipeline. The commission process sets the ball rolling so that we can know the mechanical integrity of the pipeline before we commission the pipeline. In our installation methods, we use the HDD for river crossing, and HDD is horizontal directional drilling, and it is a trenchless method which do not have impact on the environment. So why do we pick HDD? Ensures traffic remains undisturbed since we are passing underneath the bed of the rivers and the roads, and it also makes sure we have faster installation. And we use open cut for forest reserve with strict adherence, because open cuts remove the topsoil, so we have to adhere strictly to environmental compliance, and it is cost effective and straightforward. We combine HDD with open cut for densely populated area. Since HDD is more costly and the open cut is less costly, HDD is used at more sensitive areas, and the open cut is used at the less sensitive areas that have some open areas. So when you bring all these costs together, it will mitigate costs and bring an optimal cost. So these are our technical pipeline specifications, and our major consideration involve our project timelines, which we will take. So after the construction of any pipeline, the environment will have impact of the environment. So we have to bring the environment back to its motherly state. So we'll be employing AR technology. When I say AR, I mean augmented reality technology. What is augmented reality technology? It is a technology for overlaying digital information such as images, videos, and data onto the real world, which will enhance what we see in the real time. So when the construction starts, when we are doing the survey, we will employ drones equipped with quality cameras and also sensors. These sensors will take area information of the topography, the vegetation health, and the soil conditions. And we also use ground-based sensors which will be positioned at the respective areas, let's say in the forest, which will take information on the soil, moisture, the pH level, and also the temperature. So now, when we combine this together, we get a...
You have 5 minutes more.
Okay. When we have this, we'll combine them together to have a designated list. So after the construction, we'll also do the same way and have these informations. And now we'll bring our measures to mitigate the impact. So when we mitigate the impact, the AR technology will combine the information and give us an alert that the environment is back to its original position. If it doesn't, then we also apply another strategy and also check after the post-construction. So for safety, we are using automated shut-off valves, which will quickly stop gas flow during emergencies. Pressure and relay valves prevent dangerous overpressures, and also block valves will isolate in terms of emergencies. So these are emergency response plans. We provide first aid stations at other side of the pipeline, and also safe evacuation routes and others. So our project timeline lasts from 14 to 20 months. These are our cost estimations, which we calculated based on the total tonnage of the pipeline materials. So when we multiply that with the unit price of the pipe, we'll get the price of the pipeline material. So our major assumptions involve land acquisition is anticipated to proceed smoothly. And also stable conditions is assumed since it minimizes the need for costly stabilization or rock trenching, and the route has no major geographical challenges like large rivers, and we use methane for calculating the compressibility factor. So to conclude, the cocoa processing company will be able to receive the gas at a 10-bar gauge, and also this will be able to improve the infrastructure network of the Ghana Gas Company. And also following our safety and environmental protocol, we are using a high technology, which is the ARR, to bring back our environment to its original state, since we know that the environment is not inherited from our forefathers, but rather we borrow it from our children. So therefore, we have to leave it exactly the same way to our children for the future generations to benefit from the sustainable goals. Thank you. So this is our reference.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, UCC. You can take your seat and wait for us, please.
University of Mines and Technology.
So welcome back, UMaT. Your presentation is up on the screen. So if you are ready, you can start, please.
Okay. Good afternoon to you all. Today we present to you on the engineering aspect of the innovation challenge. And we will start with the introduction, how we determine the pipeline length, the flow equations we considered in our pipeline diameter determination, wall thickness and corrosion allowance determination, pipeline planning and cost analysis, then we will finally conclude. So with the project overview, the Condensate Engineering Pipeline Company Limited was granted an EPC award to construct a pipeline to supply 10 mmSCFD of gas from an existing RMS to the cocoa processing company. And these are the various design parameters that were given to be considered in our pipeline design. And the pipeline that was being designed traverses densely populated area, 5 major highways, 3 rivers, as well as a forest reserve. So we ensured compliance with environmental and safety regulations in the pipeline construction, and the project was designed to have a lifeline of 30 years. So with this, we considered several flow models in the pipeline diameter determination. And we have the Panhandle A, Panhandle B, AGA, Weymouth, and the Colebrook equation. And upon thorough analysis and investigation of the conditions of the various flow models, AGA equation stood out to be the best, and so we selected the AGA equation for the sizing of our pipeline. And for the pipeline length determination, we calculated an additional 1 kilometer length to account for the detours and also the barrier adjustments in the pipeline route selection. So this is a table showing the pipeline length determination for the route selection. So as I said earlier on, the AGA equation was the equation that stood out to be the best in the sizing of our pipeline. So we obtained the AGA equation, and the conditions that the AGA equation satisfies all the conditions given in the study case. So we calculated the Reynolds number and realized that the flow is in the fully turbulent flow regime. So we obtained the transmission factor for the fully turbulent flow regime to calculate the diameter of our pipeline, of which we had 6.45 inches. So, and considering the pressure loss gradient for distribution pipeline ranging between 0.1 to 0.5 bar gauge per kilometer, we considered a worst case scenario and selected 0.5 bar gauge per kilometer. So we calculated our maximum pressure drop, which we multiplied the 0.5 bar gauge per kilometer times the total pipeline length that we have now to obtain 5.5 bar gauge. And we added this pressure drop to the downstream pressure to have our new upstream pressure of 5.5 bar gauge, of which we approximated to 16 bar gauge. So with this, we have to go to the market to select the pipe for the pipeline construction. So we considered the 6-inch pipeline, and for the 6-inch pipeline, it required an upstream pressure of 24 bar gauge, which also translated to a pressure drop of 1.3 bar gauge per kilometer, falling outside the pressure loss gradient for distribution pipelines. So we had to discard the 6-inch pipeline and go for a higher diameter pipeline. So we chose the 8-inch pipeline, which was next to the 6-inch pipeline. This gave an upstream pressure of around 11.9 bar gauge and also had a pressure drop gradient around 0.18 bar gauge per kilometer, falling within the pressure loss gradient for distribution pipeline. So we were able to use the 8-inch pipeline for our pipeline construction.
So now, considering the fact that the pipeline will be going through different media, that's both on land and then through water, we then calculated we took the average of the corrosion rate for fresh water and then added it to that of the land, and then we obtained the total adopted corrosion rate to be 0.325 millimeter per year. So this was done to compute the corrosion allowance for a design life of 30 years. So this design life of 30 years was calculated, and then the corrosion allowance was obtained to be 9.75 millimeters. So we then calculated for the corrosion allowance for design life of 50 years, of which we obtained 16.25 millimeters. So considering our design life, which is 30 years, and also a corrosion allowance of 9.75, we then move ahead to the pipeline dimension chart to obtain our desired wall thickness. So the wall thickness was found to be 10.31, and it corresponds to a Schedule 60 STD pipeline. So we then calculated for our design life, the actual design life, of which we divided the corrosion allowance by the corrosion rate. So we had an extra, approximated 2 years extra to the original determined design life of the pipeline, which was 30 years. So we also calculated for our maximum allowable operating pressure, and then that was 125% of the design pressure, that's the 12 bar gauge. So we obtained a maximum allowable operating pressure of approximately 15 bar. So considering the whole pipeline construction project, we took into consideration several health, safety and security, and environmental measures. So we then did our pipeline environmental impact assessment to know the risk associated with this pipeline project and then how it can affect the environment. So we then engaged the community, made them know what is at stake, how the whole construction process will be done, and then also responsive measures that should be taken in case something happens. We then used our trenchless technologies, such as the horizontal directional drilling, to route the pipeline through the river and also under the highway. And then this was done in order to minimize traffic and also prevent the disruption of flow to the rivers. So for a third eye on the pipeline right-of-way, we employed our SCADA system to get a further eye to ensure continuous monitoring. So we made sure that all our activities are also below noise levels to ensure that the community or our construction activities does not affect the day-to-day activities of the people in the community. Our worker and public health safety was also an optimum priority, since safety is very key during our construction process. So to begin with this, we adhere to several international design standards and codes, and chief of them is the ASME B31.8 and then several others. So with the help of our trenchless technologies, we were able to overcome these obstacles, such as crossing the highways and also the rivers. So to begin with the pipeline construction, with the help of our survey team, we were able to obtain several topographical maps, also forest reserve maps, town maps, and then we superimpose these maps on and mark them on a master map to select the best route for our pipeline. Also, with the help of our geotechnical team, we did several soil boring and also pH testing of our river bodies to know the components in them and the effects they will have on our pipeline. After that, we obtained legal permits from several state agencies and then cleared 3 to 6 meter right of way since we were having limited space. Also, after that, we did our stringent activities of which we aligned our pipeline along the right of way. And then after that, we dug 1 meter trench. And then to ensure several extra safety, routing the pipeline through the densely populated area. For extra burial, we dug a trench of 1.5 meters to cater for that extra burial. So we employed the horizontal directional drilling, as I stated earlier, to cross the rivers, and this was done with an approximated depth of around 6 meters for the rivers and also a minimum of 2.4 for marshy areas. After that, we performed our welding activities to ensure that the pipeline is well secured, and then we coated it with a 3-layer polyethylene to ensure that there is minimal impact or adverse effects of corrosion on the pipeline. So after that, we tested the pipeline. After laying it into the trench, we tested the pipeline to about 125% of its maximum allowable operating pressure for at least a period of 4 hours. And then upon the feedback from our hydrostatic testing team, of which the pipeline proved to have no leaks, we then did our backfilling and the restoration and restored the topsoil to its original location. So to ensure extra safety on the pipeline right of way, we then planted 4 feet high warning posts to prevent unauthorized access, and also this was done in a 300-meter spacing. And we also fenced sensitive areas on the pipeline right of way. So below is the cost analysis for our pipeline construction, which takes into account the pipeline cost, the environmental and permitting costs through to the legal and regulatory cost contingency. So this chart shows the individual components, having 14 components which went into the whole pipeline construction, right from the pipe material cost through to the resettlement compensations that we did, of which the total cost accumulated to a total of around $2.3 million. So in conclusion, this project enabled us to deliver the nominated quantity of gas to the UMaT Cocoa Processing Company, obtaining or taking into consideration the various design parameters that were being given. We were able to complete this project on schedule, given the stipulated time frame of 15 months. We were able to complete this project within 12 months, and also, with the help of our SCADA system, we ensured extra monitoring on the pipeline right of way, and then also designed a pipeline to have a minimum 30-year lifespan. Also, we were able to overcome certain obstacles, such as the crossing of the rivers and then the highways, with the implementation of our horizontal directional drilling, and also routing the pipeline through the densely populated areas to ensure extra safety. So, with the collaboration between our company and also the natural gas transmission utility, we're able to foster this collaboration between them, and then to ensure the effective delivery of natural gas with minimal impact or adverse effects on the environment. So this is an Excel spreadsheet taking into account the various costs involved in the whole pipeline construction project, and also the diameter calculation for the pipeline size. So a schematic representation of the whole pipeline project is being showed, as you can see. So
you have less than 5 minutes, please.
So situated here is the gas company on my left, and also an existing RMS, of which we constructed our pipeline from the RMS to supply the delivered 10 million standard cubic feet of gas per day to the UMaT Cocoa Processing Company. So we have several valves along the pipeline right of way to ensure several safety. We also have the pressure relief valve on it and the emergency shutdown valve in case there is an overpressurization on the pipeline to isolate the sections. Also, we, as shown, we have the highways and also the rivers distributed on the pipeline to depict the various features as were being given in the study case. This brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.
So it's going to be question time. So all contestants back on stage. Okay, thank you all for good presentations. We'll take our time and discuss what you have said.
Whilst we do the housekeeping, just to remind ourselves that at the end of the question time, it would be announced for all the institutions that participated today to know what scores they obtained.
Okay, get seated and make yourselves comfortable. As usual, the questions can be directed at any institution. You can collaborate as a team and answer it anyhow you like. You want to start again? Okay, so we start from Engineer Portia.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that was a good one. Kudos to all the teams. So for GCTU, my first question to you, what is an EPC contract?
An EPC contract is engineering, procurement, and construction contract.
All right, thank you. Second question is, you made mention of circumferential stress. What parameters goes into the calculation of it?
Okay, the parameters that go into calculation of the circumferential stress, that is the hook stress, is the outside or the external diameter of the pipeline, then the inlet pressure, and then the and then the length of the pipeline.
Okay. All right, so my third question, and then I leave it for my other panelists. So you made mention of usage of local companies in your procurement, right, of your materials.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes, please.
Okay, so that's a commendable initiative, but I want to know, how would you be able to roll this out, or include local participation and local content in your procurement strategy, looking at the time frame that you have to execute your project, let's say 1 year? Will that be achievable?
Okay, in every year there is a local content and then local participation program. So, and for every energy sector attend, most energy sectors attend. When then we get to see what each industry does, we can take notes. We take notes from there. Which company is legible, and then for this contract, which company is legible for the other, and then in due time we can use them all from recommendations.
Would you want to add on?
It's okay.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. And like Dr. Ankuli said, that was a very fantastic presentation by the schools. UCC, in your presentation, you indicated that within 14 to 20 months, your project is within 14 to 20 months. Did you factor in the extra time cost, or in exceeding the project life or the expected construction life of 15 months? What consideration went into moving from 15 months to 20 months? And how does that impact on your project cost?
You have contingencies in BC. So one, contingencies. And two, because like mentioned about the contingencies, I think it answers all.
Okay, so we based the timeline on the contingencies. And also,
we added contingencies.
Okay, we added contingencies. And also our purchasing of the materials. some of the materials we purchase locally. We have some of the local gas companies that sell some pipeline materials like the Interglobal company. So once it is in the country, we'll have the deliverable so easy. So we'll be able to carry our pipeline construction in this timeline frame.
But reconcile the two positions. In one breath, we are even exceeding the contracted timelines, which is 15 months. And then you are also, in the other hand, saying that your procurement will even be done in country. How do you reconcile the two positions? Isn't that contradictory?
Okay, so we scheduled our project timeline to be 14 to 20 months. So we weren't specific that it will be in 15 months.
Obviously, what I'm saying to you, you can play a smart man. I think that was a smart answer. That you say 14 to 20 months.
Yes.
So what it is that the 15 months has provided, you are projecting that you exceed that 15 months. So what will be the basis of that projection?
This is because safety is our priority. And you see, we are laying the pipeline in the forest zone. We care about migratory birds and the breeding seasons of these animals. So if we are constructing this pipeline and it will pass through this forest reserves, and we want to be at par with our timeline. So, and if we don't give attention to these wildlife organisms, it seems we are going against our sustainable goals. We are extending this pipeline timeline because of safety and protection of the environment.
In bidding, and like you said, you've won the contract to do this. In bidding for the project, one baseline is for you to do your feasibility to see is it attainable within the timeline that has been proposed. Because you see, it's not at the whims to decide that I'm going to increase from, let's say, 15 months to 20 months. That comes with a cost. Did you factor in that cost in your project planning?
You factored it, the contingencies. Yes, we factored it. Okay, so we factored it. That's the contingencies, and it was between 10 to 15% of the total cost in our cost estimations.
So contingency will not necessarily be that you expect to exceed the time. But you see, the reason why I'm going on and on this is that in this industry, there are liabilities that accrues at both ends. There are liabilities. So for instance, your contract fits into another person's contract. So in this particular case, if you have a cocoa processing factory engaging you to do such construction, what that means is that they have upstream contract with the gas supplier itself. So if you can work within the timelines and your basis is that you want to ensure safety, that will not be a very good reason to extend your pipeline. There must be a reason why the timeline is going to be extended, because anytime you exceed the agreed timelines, it comes with certain commercial consequences. So that should not be lost on you. Thank you, Dr. Ankude.
But in the questions, in this specified 15 months.
Okay, let me ask that something. So the next institution is UMaT. I've listened to you. Very impressive way to design the pipe with trying to choose different sizes and then test the velocity and pressure drop and all that. Very impressive. But I noticed that the design pressure in your pipe is 12 bar gauge. In the problem statement, the pressure ranges from 75 bar gauge to 10. So how come you obtain 12 bar gauge in the line?
Okay, so first of all, the problem statement gave us the fact that we have to export our gas at a pressure of 75 bar per kilometer. But considering that high upstream pressure and also the downstream or the delivery pressure of 10 bar, that's a significant pressure drop. So exporting at this pressure for the 11 kilometer stretch, we will be wasting enough energy, because considering that you are exporting this gas, 10 million standard cubic feet of gas, and you are exporting all with 75 bar, you waste enough energy. And also considering the fact that this change in pressure can result in cooling of the gas, and then can even cause hydrate to form. And also this pressure had to be reduced to pressure of 12 bar, because the pipeline is going through densely populated areas, and also safety is very key. And then we have to ensure that the pipeline going through the densely populated area is having a pressure that will be safe in case there's a leak. It wouldn't be catastrophic. So we used a pressure reducing valve at the RMS to reduce the pressure from the 75 bar to the 12 bar gauge per kilometer.
Okay. So,
I have a follow-up on this.
Yes, you are going to get follow-ups on this.
So
the first one is, after you install that pressure reduction valve, what was the temperature right after the valve?
Yeah. Okay, so given the upstream pressure at the RMS to be 27 degrees Celsius, temperature to be 27 degrees Celsius, after installing the pressure reducing valve, the temperature since the delivery temperature is around 25 degrees Celsius, the temperature at the upstream, so that's where the pressure reducing valve is installed, will remain at 25 degrees Celsius. And then
I think that is where you may have a difficulty. At that high pressure drops, the temperature is going to go very, very low. So you might want to install some kind of heaters to bring your temperature back to 25. I don't think you consider that, but that was an impressive presentation anyway. So there are follow-up questions too on that.
Just for my education, and maybe Dr. Nkudetu can help on this. So if the off-taker requires an arrival pressure of, let's say, 10, and you have 12, who then drops it to the 10 that is required at the receiving facility?
Yeah, so since the off-taker requires its 10 bar gauge pressure, and then also we are supposed to supply that gas to the off-taker at 10 million standard cubic feet of gas per day. So the pressure reducing valve's job is to reduce the pressure from the 75 bar from the upstream. By the time the gas gets to the off-taker, then it has met that 10 bar gauge per kilometer pressure to deliver the 10 million standard cubic feet of gas, considering the pressure drop along the pipeline, which was found to be 5.5 bar gauge per kilometer.
A follow-up question for you, Matt. You did not consider phase envelope, right? Diagram in your design. Can you tell me why so? Don't you think it was a useful information?
Okay, so we didn't consider the phase changes, and this is due to the fact that in the study case, we're given that the flow is a pseudo-steady state. So we obtain the average pressures and then the average temperatures in computing the compressibility factor of the gas. And then this would not, so there would not be liquid formed. So since the flow is pseudo-steady, there will not be any, there wouldn't be any changes with regards to the flow.
So the assumption was a steady state, rather. Yeah, so.
Steady state flow, sorry.
All right.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Now, GCTU. In your presentation, you decided to choose one of the equations given you. You used the UMaT equation. You were given up to 4 to choose from. So why did you choose the UMaT?
We chose the UMaT because it met our standards or what we wanted. First of all, the UMaT flow equation is the best for small diameter pipelines, and for the panhandle A and B, they are for higher pressure and then large diameter, so we did not consider it. And then for the AGA is suitable for mixed gases, so we did not consider that as well. And for the Colebrook, we did not consider it because it's suitable for high pressure methane gas.
Okay, follow up on that. You said the UMaT is for small diameter pipes. Here is the case, you are now deciding on the diameter. So you don't even know the diameter to start with.
Yes, so we know our flow rate, and we know our flow rate. So we use the flow rate formula, which is 353.7 times the diameter exponent 2.667, all times the root of the inlet pressure squared minus outlet pressure squared, all divided by the gas compressibility constant times the length of the pipeline and then times the temperature. So from the formula, we have our flow rate already to be 10 million standard cubic feet. So we just put that into the equation and then find our diameter, which we had 0.43 inches.
Yes, that's the problem. A pipe diameter of 0.43 inches. You know what that is?
Yes.
It's like this.
Yes. So, it is below the standards. So what we did is that we increased our pipeline diameter to the diameter to 10 inches.
Your presentation said 4 inches.
No, please. It's 10 inches.
Okay, from 0.4 to
yes,
10.
10 inches because.
What's the basis? Why not 6? Why not 6?
The standards for pipeline.
There's a standard 6-inch pipe.
Yeah, but it's advisable to choose pipelines from 8 and above. 8 inches.
Okay.
Also, to add up to what my colleague said, we consider the fact that the cocoa processing pipeline may in future decide to increase the capacity of gas they receive. So we considered that also. That is why we went for the 10 inches for future increases.
Okay. Okay. Now UCC. You obtain a diameter of, is it 3 inches?
No. The 3 inches is what we calculated.
Okay.
But then it doesn't lie in the recommended since it gives outlet pressure greater than the erosional velocity. So we start optimization by picking a diameter of 4 Cs and we decide the best.
So what was the best finally?
So we choose 4 inches.
4 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, my issue on that is you mentioned 3, 5 without any unit. So we don't know whether we are using a 3 millimeter pipe, a 5 millimeter pipe or something. All you said was 3, 5, so nobody understood anything.
Okay, 3 inches.
Now, did you use a pressure reduction valve anywhere?
Yes, we use the choke valves.
Where was it installed?
So we installed the choke valves at the end of the pipeline, but then from 0.5 kilometer distance at the end of the pipeline.
Okay, as against, for example, what UMaT did, why would you do that?
So the problem is, when we choose to reduce the pressure from 75 to 10, we will have a much pressure drop, that is 65 bar gauge, and this will cause stress on the pipeline. And also, when you have a large pressure drop, you also have a large temperature drop. Now, this temperature drop, when it happens that it falls below the ductile to brittle transition range of the material, then we'll have problems like rupture or leaks. That is why we pick that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. GCTU. Where do you, so in terms of the siting of your pressure reduction valve, where do you want to site it? Where do you propose to site it?
We decide to site it at the beginning of the pipeline, or forward, or a bit closer to the beginning of the pipeline.
What will be the basis?
Okay, because we are to assume steady state analysis. So that means the pressure is supposed to be continuous in the pipeline till it reaches the outlet.
Okay. Assuming you go for your permit. So let's say you go to Forestry Commission, and then they say that they are unable to grant you permit for the construction of the pipeline through the forest reserve. What will be your alternative mechanism? And then how do you also intend to reduce the destruction to the forest, assuming they also agree that they are going to grant you the permit? So 2 questions in one. The first part is, if they refuse to grant you permit, what will be your alternative? And if they don't refuse, they grant you permit, how do you ensure that you don't cause destruction to the forest environment? Thank you.
Okay, in a situation whereby our permit is not granted, we would go for a detouring. We would go for detouring through, as in we would choose a different route aside the forest reservation.
And if it's granted, how do you ensure the environment is not distracted?
If it's granted, what we are going to do is we are going to do the open cut drilling, where after laying our pipeline, for 0.9 meters, we put a warning tape, and then we cover it up with 30 meters of the soil, and then we are going to
so allow.
To add up to what my colleague is saying, so in situations whereby this permit is granted, after our installation, we are going to restore the forest reserve, as in we are going to plant back the trees that were cut down, plant back grasses in case they were uprooted from their homes. That is the measures we are going to take in place, not to disturb the forest reserve.
Do I hear you say that you are going to replant on your right of way?
No.
As in case trees were cut down during our construction.
On your right of way?
Yes.
Not on our right of way.
Okay.
Our right of way will be cleared and will have no trees on it. So our right of way is going to take just a particular part. So it goes narrowly, it doesn't spread out that much. we make economical or we make the space bright enough, we do not expand it so that the forests can also survive.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your response. UCC, aside your techniques that you used in the pipeline construction in densely populated area, did you consider your location class in your gas flow equation?
So we consider the location class, and the class is class 3 pipeline.
Okay, so what factor did you use in that?
So normally class 3 pipelines have a building from 48 and above. And it also have river, the roads, and a lot of recreational facilities.
If I'm adding up, so when we get to these densely populated areas, we trench it 1.5 meters, and we use spark-proof so that in case of any emergencies, there wouldn't be any explosion in the community.
Let me finish. All right, thank you. So a question to all schools, the inclusion of an ESD, emergency shutdown valve, right, ESDV. I think most of you did not make mention of that, but I want to find out from you. In your design, did you include that? All right. And where would you place it? Starting from, yeah.
Okay, so in our presentation, we did mention that we are going to procure valves. So the ESD is also factored in these valves. And as to where we are going to place it, we are going to place it at a receiving station. That is the cocoa processing plant. That is where these valves are going to be installed.
Okay. Thank you. UMaT, are you ready?
Okay, so we talked about the emergency shutdown valves, and then on our schematic, we show where the emergency shutdown valves are all installed. So one was installed at the regulating and metering station, and also one was downstream closer to the cocoa processing company. And this was done because if there's overpressurization or if something happens to the pipeline and it's from upstream, the one at the downstream will be isolated, and then it will be, we don't want the cocoa processing company to be affected. So that line will be isolated, and then we will treat the upstream side.
All right. Thank you. UCC.
So in our presentation, we mentioned the emergency shut-off valves. Specifically, we mentioned the automated type. So we will use 3, one at the RMS, one at the densely populated area, since safety there is a major concern, and one at the cocoa processing company, the pipeline closer to the cocoa processing company.
Was it shown in any schematic in your presentation?
No, we didn't show it, but then we mentioned it. We mentioned it. Okay.
Thank you.
UCC, short one. You, in answering the question with regards to densely populated area, you said you cut trenches. Is that still your position?
The trenching, we make it 1.5 meters. Okay, so we said when we reach the densely populated areas, we will make 1.5 trench. So when we get to the dense populated areas, because safety is a priority, we make sure the pipeline is buried 1.5 meters.
Okay, so you break people's house? Will you break people's house?
Okay, so to add to that,
We won't break anyone's house. But we combine the two, right? Yeah, but we won't break anyone's house.
Okay, so we will not break anyone's house. And okay,
we won't break anyone's house.
UCC. You mentioned that belongs to class 3, right? So if the pipeline belongs to class 3, which is, the idea is that it is going through an area that we consider densely populated. What do you do to the thickness? Because there are factors that you take into account so that you can now adjust the pipeline thickness. No, I'm just. Okay, UMaT, the same thing to you. Do you know anything about that?
Okay, so for the 8-inch pipeline we selected, we increased the thickness by considering the corrosion allowance, of which we obtained to be 9.75 millimeters. So this increase in corrosion, this increase in wall thickness was done with the idea that considering the design life of 30 years, we would not be digging the pipeline continuously. So with this increased thickness, by the end of the 30-year design life, there would be minimal adverse effect of corrosion on the pipeline. So we will not be continuously digging the pipeline for maintenance and then repair. So we decided to increase the wall thickness.
GCTU, it's not something you considered, but do you know anything about that? The class locations? No. Okay, so we have come to the end of today's questioning. So Harrison, you can take it over.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to implore each and every one of you to join us tomorrow in the morning at 10 a.m. as we receive the contest of the University of Energy and Natural Resources, Takoradi Technical University, and then the Tamale Technical University in the morning. And then in the afternoon, we have the contest between the KNUST, University of Ghana, and Ho Technical University. On this note, I want to say a very big thank you to each and every one of us, and we say thank you and have a good night.